Hey guys, this is Weston AKA Reiki Fireston Lightchild with Soul Energizers. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some information I received. It was actually a lot of downloads that I received from all over the place. The many aspects of me, I should say. The main would be source energy information, as well as I felt like some of my special lady gurus, I call them, some from Magenta Pixie, Dolores Cannon especially, and mainly Source and my higher self. Now, I also, anytime I reference what I call they, kind of up here, I put it that way because that's the voice, the voices, depending on, I guess, who's coming through. So, I learned that happened for me from quantum healing hypnosis therapy through past life regression. They appeared and started, or not appeared, but came through and started chatter, teaching me things, all kinds of crazy stuff that I tell people about, which is kind of crazy too, but it's okay. So I'm going to try to stay on track. This is going to be a hard video to do for me because there was so much information and to try to gather it all together in one thought, but I'm going to go through a little bit of it, might be brief, and then I'll talk about it a little bit more as they're going to help me, they said. So, not the best at communicating, and I'm trying to get better, so we'll try to see what happens. I channeled a few messages before, one from Thoth and one from the Pleiadians a couple of years back, actually. I haven't been able to do it since, and then one from Dolores. It was a short one, but and I don't speak normally. I don't speak in the ways I was channeling the message, and it was coming through, and so I don't use the vocabulary that was coming through. It's just crazy stuff for me too. I know other people do this. I watch Magenta all the time. Different people that channel entities or other aspects of themselves, but because in the big picture, we're all just that one energy, or that one source. I'm so thirsty, so I apologize. So I want to start off with saying, everybody always has the question of where, if there is a God or a creator, which a lot of us know in our own hearts and our own knowing that is a real thing. And I also want to say, if you resonate with this, it's okay. If you don't, that's okay too. You can open up your ears and your minds and receive the information, even though you may not agree with it, or be open to it at least enough to maybe learn some stuff from it. That's all I ask. And I don't put up with stuff that's anger or hateful or any type of attack. So if you have anything like that, please just go ahead and change the channel. Or if you want to say it, go ahead, but I just don't get into those types of conversations anymore, or debates or fights or whatever. It's not worth it. So, like I said, this is going to be a little bit hard for me. I'm working on my communication skills. I have all these thoughts and all these things I want to say, and it seems like people, growing up especially, people didn't understand what I was saying, and I knew I was trying to get something across, and it wasn't getting through, and I couldn't figure out why. And I have a big feeling that English language is not the full language, and there's a better version, or something maybe from my past that I was connected to, like the Pleiadians or Luminarians. But English is just like so limited, and I always struggle with it. A lot of people become grammar Nazis and will be like, "Did you even go to school?" And I'm like, "What? I've never seen that word before. I thought it was fox paws, not faux pas. But I know what faux pas means, and I've heard the word and knew the definition. Just never seen it." So those types of things I struggle with. Learning a lot more now that I'm becoming more communicative with people and putting myself out there a little bit more. So, like I said, it is New Year's Eve. I'm downtown Denver. There's a lot going on the planet right now with the Ascension. I've experienced so much in my life in the past year, as well as the total probably like 7 years of my spiritual journey, but I was thinking about that earlier. It actually really started when I was a kid, and I didn't know it until I look back and I'm like, wow, I knew some things. Very, very deep intellectual things that I didn't even know as a kid. I was just a kid saying things like, Mom, it's not take their eye, it's not eye for an eye, like take their eye, it's see through their eyes. And stuff like that, like 5 years old. Crazy. So, back to the subject. It's hard for me to not, since my journey, I've lost a lot of people kind of trickle away, and they can't handle these types of conversations or even stand or understand what they mean or anything. So it's hard for them to keep in my, in my life, because, and I'm assuming they're not doing it on purpose, but it just happens because they're not resonating with anything about spirituality, or they've been programmed to believe one system or one actual thing, and it's very, I never want to offend anybody, but I feel like it's lacking information that hasn't been received yet, which is, to me, dark, light. Darkness is basically lack of information. Light is full of information. So it's like a scale that when you go to school, you go to first grade or kindergarten, first grade, and so on. And there's like a veil in between those individual school levels or grades. And that's kind of like a veil to me. A veil's you don't know what's on the other side basically until you get there. So you see glimpses and stuff like that just from talking to other people, and that's how stuff starts to awaken and open to the next level. And I guess where I'm going with this is that's essentially what Source was trying to convey to me. That big question that's never been answered is because it's not answerable. Where did Source come from? Source does not know, because Source has been here for so long and incarnating and doing the same thing we are doing over and over and over again, that it's so infinite amounts of what we would call time, that it's been forgotten. And what we are doing, trying to do the same thing, is remember who we are and where we came from and how we got there and all that blah blah blah. But Source, our creator that we know of, or a version of our creator that we know of, one of the many ups, basically Central Sun is what a lot of people call Source or God, Prime Creator, the main creator. Basically what I was given from, and I don't like to say him or her anymore, I'm trying to get away from saying him because I was raised that way, and sometimes I feel like it is a masculine energy, but I know it's both. It's just, so if I switch back and forth, I apologize. I'm trying to get Source is what I think is the best name for the entity that created everything that we know about. But there has to be a creation of that creation too, in my opinion. You don't just exist out of nothing unless there was nothing to begin with. So in my opinion, everything comes from nothing and nothing comes from everything. Whoa. It's kind of like the CERN building or whatever it is out, the collider, see, I can't even say it. The thing that's smashing a bunch of atoms together, and scientists are trying to build or create this black hole or whatever they're doing, and they're trying to create a new universe, which they have known nothing about what happens if they do that, and where this Earth could get sucked into or whatever happens. They don't have any clue. They might have some knowledge from the past. People might have been doing this for a long time, I'm assuming, but that's a whole new level. From my understanding, I learned some new information very recently from Dolores Cannon. I never heard this for some reason because I've been obsessed with Dolores for like 3 years. That basically Source, our creator, creates everything. But once something's created, Source would create more, and just keeps creating. And the point, or the way that's able to happen, is each individual soul, through its life journey, leaving Source as a piece of the soul, original soul of Source. So basically, if you say God or Source, the Big Bang Theory is a little bit a correct way, I would say, to look at it, because essentially God or Source sends out the souls of pieces of Him or Source. Now, I'm going to say them. Maybe that'll be a better way to say this. I'm trying to get out of the whole gender defining things, because that's something humans do, and I've been recently just thinking a lot about it. It just doesn't make sense. So Source sent off the souls, and this is my first channeling, actually. I hear this voice in my head that says, go draw this picture, write this down. And I'm like, because I'm hearing voices again. And when I say again, I've always heard the little narrator dude. That's me, I guess. That's just narrating everything. It used to be a lot more powerful, but then these other things are here. So it's like, stop narrating my day. Leave me alone. I've always heard the ones way in the back. They used to be far, like in the back, saying, "Hey, don't do this. If you do that, this will happen. You know this is gonna happen. Hey, you're not listening to us. Listen to us. We're trying to get your attention." And I'm like, leave me alone. I'm going to party. I'm going to do something. I don't want to do what you're saying. Leave me alone. I would say that's kind of like the cartoons that show the angel on the shoulder and the devil. Mine would be angel, devil. I don't believe in the devil, but I think the devil's an aspect of our personality. Or Santa Claus. It's not real. It's something to fear you into thinking you're going to have a punishment if you do something that whoever created these rules don't like. Not real. Santa Claus watches you so you don't get presents if you're bad. Not really either, because there is no bad or good, but it's a fear tactic to lead you away from the knowing that Source is only unconditional loving energy and that you should fear this entity. To me, that's ridiculous. A whole nother topic, but I will bring up sometime about 3 questions you can say to, and I was born and raised as a Southern Baptist, which is a Christian realm of all that religion, and they believe that, and a lot of people, the main things that our God of the Bible, it would say, is just completely got blown out of my thoughts a couple weeks ago, and it changed everything. Is that Source is all-knowing, all-loving, and all-powerful. So all-loving, all-knowing, all-powerful. First question you can ask somebody to throw this whole thing off, and they still won't admit it, but can Source, God from the Bible, create a structure, a stone, anything you want it to be, so heavy that they wouldn't be able to lift it? That immediately smashes the God of the Bible being not real. Because if they believe, and I say they, the people that read the Bible and actually believe in that old programming is what I think it is. I used to believe the same thing. Can they create a rock, we'll say, that's so heavy that they can't even lift it? Well, all powerful would be out the door. Of course, he would, or they would be able to create this rock if they were all powerful. But that question itself is just like a very it's weird, but it proves, that it's not all powerful, unless there's another definition of powerful somewhere else that I don't know about. All loving. So mainly the Bible relates to Christianity and Catholicism. Sorry if I say these things wrong. Catholicism, whatever. And a bunch of other mixtures of, I don't know why they're all created like this and have different rules, but it's separation. My opinion is religions to separate, keep separating, because the more they separate us, the more we become separate and lose the knowing that we are just one. We are Source energy, we are Source, we are each other, everything. I'm trying to stay on topic, so that smashes all loving at the door. So all knowing, all loving, all powerful. So all knowing, that's a tough one for me to ask, have come up with a question. But I guess I would say Source doesn't know where they came from. So I keep doing that. Hopefully that'll fall out. They don't know where they come from what I was given information, and nobody knows the answer here on this planet unless I think the closest answer is to where maybe, I don't want to be ego or anything, but I think I found a closer answer that I've never found before. I don't know if anybody else has. I haven't really searched the topic of who knows this answer and how they found out, but basically Source told me we are like Source. We are Source. Source is on the same path as we are, but it's an advanced level of vibration and frequency and dimension. So as we do, we start from the bottom and we move to the top, if that's the dualistic way to say it. So there's levels. You have to go all up. Now, I don't understand the full aspect of there's only now and there's no such thing as past, present, future, and I get it, but to speak to, as we are human right now, so I'm going to speak as if those things are real on our dimensional plane at the moment. Not sure what happens in 5D. I know I've experienced a lot of 5D, but right now I've experienced everything, a mixture. Bifurcation is basically where you renounce, and like I said, forgive me, English, where you basically state how you want the fifth dimension to be in your reality, which from what I learned, you need to kind of make that a statement or something out loud or write it down for it to fully help you get into that dimensional area. So you can say, I want to be fully integrated into the fifth dimension with positive polarity. Positive polarity would be the everything you'll experience will be a positive outwardly experience. Now, I haven't learned what that is inwardly. I think we still have our thoughts and our memories, so we will remember some of the bad stuff that's happened to us, which I think helps the positive to exist in this new dimension. That's the only thing I could think of, like heaven on earth would be, we still have those memories of the not so happy moments, and that's what's providing us the heaven on earth outwardly. So we probably still will have this internal dilemma going on always for probably our existence as we learn and learn and learn more. We are probably going to advance enough, but we never will know everything, because the purpose of Source, I'm trying to tie this all together. Purpose of Source, or the intention of the original Source, it's weird to think about how far has Source gone back, and is this the original Source, or is it just infinite us, like me and you are the same, but did we just keep going and going and going but where is the original energy created from? Or was it? Or is this all just a simulation from a computer? None of this is real. We don't know that question. We deliver information with our voices, with our thoughts, with our body language, and we also receive information, which includes what most people call downloads. Like a computer, you can download information, but if you want to think about it as floating information, other entities, other us's, other dimensional everybody's basically are able to push out information, and it's kind of like a packet, like the internet, Wi-Fi. That's how we work. It floats around, and if you happen to just it hits you and you get sucked into your little brain. I feel like the information download is not necessarily from you. It's just information coming from another source in packets, and information of epiphanies would be an example. All of a sudden you have this idea and it shows up. It also probably could be as well, you're remembering the things you already knew. So it's not floating around technically. It's just information that you finally reached in the realm of all information, because I think our human brains and our bodies don't allow us to be our full soul, informational, knowledgeable soul, whatever it is. And I think the information is stored in this brain, maybe temporarily, but I kind of don't think so. I think it's our brain doesn't probably have anything to do with that. It probably is something more like it opens. Our brain is like a, what would that be called? Like a computer chip that sends and receives information, but it's just like a conduit. It doesn't even store the information. It's allowing us to get access to information that's somewhere else in the universe, which to me would be like a channel or a conduit or some kind of in and out thing that allows information to come in and come out and go, like a pipeline to another piece of information one at a time, or sections, wherever it's all stored at. It could be stored in all of us, whatever. Gosh, I've learned so much information. It's really hard for me to stay in a certain path, so I'm just gonna keep teaching about whatever pops in my head. Now, I talked to so many people. I originally started off doing Reiki. Originally, I think, now that I think about it, I was a kid. I was always asking questions. Everything would be questioned because I always felt like the information I was being received was not authentic, or that it was not, and I don't really know this as a kid. I didn't think about this is why I'm asking these questions, but I kind of knew what that was. I just was doing it because I always felt like, no, that doesn't make sense to me. I need to know more. So I'd question everything, which I still do. I need to know where, when, why, how, and why you think that. And I also want to know why you think that, and other people think about, or like what your opinion is on the information that you received and why and how. Just basically everything, how it all works. And I want to know about the other person's reasonings and the knowings and the stuff that they have, so I can put the big picture together. Where did this actually exist? And are they thinking from a authentic channel, like full connection to that information, or are they receiving information that might be false or unauthentic and they are just believing it? I feel like a lot of individuals do that, and I've done it before. I started off that way. I feel I just knew everything. I know this, which in a sense, when I look back as a kid, I did know. I don't know why I didn't think about that, why I knew. I was just a kid. I just was very intellectual. I would say intelligent kid when I look back and say these things that I would say to my mom a lot, and like just think about like, what little kid does that? Probably a lot of them, they just don't tell you. But it makes me happy because I had like a tough childhood with communication and connecting with people, and it was really difficult to, and I'm sure a lot of you have experienced this, it's really hard to get through that time of life because nobody understands what you're going through, and they may not even know that you're going through it and recognize it because they're so busy trying to keep you clothed and fed, and also the programming that they've had their entire life, and it all connects more and more. And I think these planets awaken a lot more as, did I say planet? I didn't mean to say planet, sorry, I'm getting a little tranced. When I channel information or when they help me, I just kind of get into like, okay, so parents, I think, are programmed so much that it's slowly finally getting out of that program, the big master plan of keeping us enslaved and working and doing these things for thousands of years and being in control by a certain small population of whatever they are, and they steal our energy, and we just work and think that's all there is. So from my point of view, I think in my lifetime it's changed so much, more than ever in the past, as far as our history goes. I know there's the history they teach you in school, and I've slowly learned, and at first I was like, that's not real. But I've learned a lot from my husband, Andrew, and also just other people that knew all this crazy information that I had no clue where it even came from or how they knew it. But they were very predominantly, they knew a lot of information. Wherever they got it from was a good source. If it was made up or not, like I thought, it was some really good made up information, which I think is insane. It would probably not made up. I think everything's possible. Everybody has their own reality and their perception, and it's probably all real. There's no limitations to what is real. So back to the point of where did its source come from? He doesn't even know. It, she, him, all of them. they don't even know. So the question for now would be, because they don't know, how do they receive that information is what I'm asking. Are they eventually getting to that point? And Source said yes. Once we keep gathering, because basically he's using us to gather the information, the broken pieces of his soul, which is the big broken piece of another soul, another. We're all just a broken piece of energy, fragmented, not broken like it doesn't work, like just pieces of it. And so we go through this phase, and I'll show you guys what Thoth showed me one time, the path of the soul, but I'll do it real quick. Like, picture this area right here is where God or Source is. And the soul is created and it drops down. And then basically it's gray matter. So it has a choice. It can go this way or that way, which means in our human language, it means dark, or go that way, it's light. Now, if it goes the dark side, it's basically considered the negative energy, the darker side, the parts that are in our world not as happy to experience, but it's still a major piece, and probably a more low, I don't know how to say it, it's probably more beneficial and important to go through that side. It's harder to get through. And I don't know what that is on my freaking shoulder. I don't know what this light is doing, but because that's the real background. Sorry, I just kind of think the lighting's really weird right now. So, we all start off as lower conscious things. Through past life regression, I learned how this is, because the past life is shown to the client, and whatever they are in that past life, they can speak detailed information about what it is. And there's been so many of those past life regressions done that if you gather the information and look at all of these thousands and thousands of experiences, we pretty much have been everything from what I've noticed. And it seems to me, if you piece it all together, the first thing that and I've heard Dolores Cannon say this, the first thing that we normally start off as is a gas, or like some kind of collective structure of fuel or whatever's in the atmosphere, floating around, particles collectively. But I don't know how big this collective thing is, if it were all of it at once, if it's like a collective soul type thing. But we start off as one of those. I would also say that the next level would probably be some kind of cell, individual cell, like in somebody's body, or like an atom or whatever. We probably start off with the smallest, and there's probably infinite. There's something small, so small that it just gets smaller. I don't think there's so much infinite information of universes. They probably never freaking stop for a long time, unless eventually they started at some point. I don't know what I was thinking, maybe that there's a start point, or the question, or when people say we were just here, he just is. God's just the one, and there is no other. He just is. We don't know the answer to that question. That always is messed with my head, because I don't think that's real. I think that's just an answer that people give because they don't know what the heck the answer is. But I'm pretty sure that God, if you look at moms and dads, like as our creators, they start off somewhere. They have to start off somewhere, and there's probably just sorry, I'm like receiving information. I guess the best way to explain it is we don't want to know the answer to that question, is what I got out of this whole channeling, whatever that was in the bathtub. I receive information in the bathtub all the time. I thought it was me, but then I started the voices. Yes, I hear voices, many, and I tell the doctors, I tell everybody, because I want people to know that those things are real, and they help you, and they do things all the time for you. Animals, insects, whatever's in your head, those are all aspects of just you, because essentially when we did originate, wherever that came from, we came from a piece of that soul energy, and it wasn't just created out of nothing. Unless this is the big round of information that I'm getting to. My answer would be for the where we come from, because there's always something bitter. We came from a thought. Because for you to be able to walk over to the television and turn it off, or for you to be able to do something in the future, you have to plan something and write it down, or keep it in your memory somehow, or you have to physically somehow, how do I say physically? Well, I guess your brain, something up here gives you a construction, a physical way of how the thoughts are created, and then how they, I think thought is what creates the energy. I think it can be created and not just taken from somewhere else. It's infinite. So we've created so many universes now. But there's no limitation to that, because if you take a thought and you're able to stick it onto something, the best way to explain that would be like zero. The number zero is everything. Right now there's a lot of talk about the 0-point field, how things manifest, how things are, where they come from basically, and that's why they're in CERN trying to blast particles together, because they're trying to create a 0-point field to where it'll blast this black hole, make a black hole, and they're going to use the black hole it'll create a universe all of a sudden, because in the black hole is everything but is nothing as well. So it's like sucking everything up, but also whoosh. So in a sense the time doesn't go forward, it doesn't go backwards, it's just happening right now. Time was created by man, I'm assuming, because we needed a measurement for explaining things to people, because we only speak in our language at the moment, or languages verbally out loud. So for us to say, well, I went from point A to point B, and it's got to be a measurement of either time or dates, or it's all the same. Once we start becoming psychic and I think we'll have this knowing, and it'll be different in our, we'll be a larger, we are that time. So we won't even have to think about that. We won't be thinking, it will just know, and that part goes away probably. I don't know about you guys, but since the 21st, I've been seeing weird lights and like crazy stuff. Like everything looks different. Seeing like another side of I don't know if it's the other side or if it's the other Earths, the other 4 dimensions of Earths. What the hell's going on? But I don't know if your vision has been crazy, and the ringing of the ears and all these sounds, like high pitches of sounds, and like just like goosebumps all the time. I just got them again. There's definitely some energy on this planet that's happening right now, and I know I'm not going crazier than I already am, but when people say you're crazy or think that, I think, yeah, I'm crazy with information. Lots of it. It's hard to process that fast enough as it's coming in right now. I can hear people through the walls now. Like, I'm in a hotel. A lot of times I can hear the people talking, or what they're saying, or sometimes I feel like I've always had a way to hear people, or know what they're thinking, but sometimes I think I hear it like in my head. I've always had this gift, probably for the past 5 years, of seeing and being in the room with a person or multiple people, and their energy, how I'm perceiving it, is, if I was to picture it and put it visually, it would be like words popping up out of them, and it would tell me a story, or like I could just feel it and just know what they're thinking by their energetic. I don't know how that works. I'm still learning how to figure that out, but I could be next to 2 people, and one person here, one person there, and actually tell the difference of their energies, and also know what they're thinking and doing in their next step, their intentions, just by sitting there. And it scares me, because sometimes like I'm not supposed to tell people what people freak out when you say that. I also have trouble with it when I know there's some bad intentions, and it's hard for me to explain to the people that haven't experienced this yet, to say I know what they're about to do. They're not a good person. They have harmful intent on the situation. I don't think there's bad or good. I think it's all lessons, but I feel I don't want to be subjected to that energy and go through something that makes me as a human emotionally scared or just nervous, or I try to go through those emotions, but I don't like being scared. I don't like being feared. And I think those are false. So that's why now when I feel that, I'm trying to put myself into those people's shoes, that person that's doing what I don't like, and like fully look at that. See, I'm getting off topic, but I want to finish this. Fully looking at that person and saying, knowing that we're all one, saying that is me, and I want to look at maybe why they might have that intention, what their purpose is, what they're doing with that intention. Do I forgive them? Of course. Do I have even a need to forgive them? No, because there's nothing I'm holding against them, so I shouldn't even try to be forgiving people. Because if I fully was unconditional loving, there would not be forgiveness needed. It would just be love. And then I think that would seal up the deal. It would fix all the problems of the world, essentially, because if everybody was unconditional loving, there wouldn't be all these other things that were created by us accidentally or purposely for lessons, whatever. I hope you guys are understanding this, because, like I said, it's hard for me to communicate information sometimes. I'm off subject here. This is downtown Denver, and the sun is rising. It's pretty cool. Whoa, I must have some kind of filter. The sun is rising. The new energy on the planet since the 21st is coming into play, which is pretty cool. I've been feeling it. I know it's here. I just know it's here because it's changed my whole world. But I also think I feel like, you can see the sparkles on my necklace. I'm a visual person. I always freak out about, oh, look at the thing in the sky, look at the flower, look at this thing, look at geometric stuff. Anyway, on topic, Weston. I am going to keep curating videos. Before, I was kind of doing reenactments of some specific channelers and people that I think are very important, with really gifted abilities to communicate properly. And I was reenacting those and posting them. Some people got a little upset saying I was trying to steal their information and take the knowledge and say it was mine. Or none of that happened, actually. My intention was to, and I think that people probably know that, even though I don't know them personally, they know probably about me because I made a song for all my gurus, I guess I call them, or my heroes, whatever you want to call them, the people that have just helped me so much with information that they provide on these types of channels, YouTube, and the reason I would channel those, and there was a few reasons. The reasons I would repost them and I would reenact them as me, I wanted to learn how to communicate like them and just keep doing that. And it helped me actually see how that was done, how things work, because these people are very good at what they do and have a lot of followers. And I'm not looking for followers. I'm looking for followers for a reason of helping the most amount of people on this planet as I can, as fast as possible, before the Ascension, after the Ascension. Because I know the information that I've received has been so beneficial for me to take all of it and put it together, and that's why it's hard to prove that something is real and truth to somebody that's not received the information yet. So I never try to do that. If they're open to wanting to listen, then I will blab their ear off and they continue to listen. But the ones that argue or immediately get mean, or I've been trying to learn this just to move on. Don't even bring it up to them. It's not worth your time, because they will never want to receive that information until they're ready or have had something confirm that this stuff's real, and then they'll start listening. They'll find their own path. But I kind of was the same way. I'm like, extraterrestrials, you're crazy. What are you talking about? That's not real. This is not real. I'm Google. They're not real. The sky is green. People made fun of me for that. But anyway, back on topic. I don't remember what that was. But I got my main point out. That source told me basically that they don't even know where they're came from, because it's been around so long of infinite information. And that's the same thing we're doing, is going on our little path. And it's like a big circle. We start from a gray matter. We choose ourselves before we are born. As a soul, we choose everything that we live on this planet. That's another story. I want to talk about when we're born, before we're born, how we get through life, the reasons we're here on this planet, the lessons we're learning, the purpose of that, the different soul contracts, what happens when we pass over to the other side, where the soul goes, what happens to the body, and the purpose of going through that lifetime and what happens on the other side, and then how we get back to another vessel or body and start over and keep doing it until we've learned from this big school of information that Earth is. I would also want to bring in some information I learned a long time ago from, I guess, receiving the downloads, but also I saw some past life regressions where it wasn't Dolores, but it was another lady, and I can't think of her name at the moment. It'll come to me. But she does past life regressions, but they're different a little bit. But they come with a lot of the same results of past lives. And one of the persons that was going through this was channeling, actually. It wasn't a past life. It was, they are able to bring certain aspects or the actual entity into themselves and then speak. So it's kind of like, I don't like to say possession because I think that has a negative energy around it, but basically the person becomes a conduit and a channel and a physical way to communicate information to the human people. This person was channeling, excuse me, it's like so early in the morning and I've been up all night. I've slept a little bit, but I had some issues downstairs. I've been having a lot of issues with my poor doggy. I'm getting off subject, and if you guys have any advice, I have a dog. I have 2 dogs. They're very well behaved most of the time, but they do protect me. And if somebody decides they're going to walk up to me, and if they're threatening to my girl dog, Amelia, she will bark at them and kind of get a jumpy. If they get too close, she probably would bite them. I'm assuming she would. And the past 2 weeks, I've had 2 experiences now, and I've been able to keep her under control and away from that situation, but it seems kind of like these situations are showing up, and they're like kind of coming at me so fast I don't know. Most people are very forgiving of the dog's behavior, of them barking or kind of getting kind of like stay away from my owner, but 2 situations, both men, and one of them ended up becoming a court issue. The police showed up, the animal control showed up, because we got locked out of our hotel, and I live in hotels at the moment when I can. We got locked out because I went to take the doggies out to go potty outside, and the key wasn't working to get back in, the digital card. And so I was like, what are we going to do? I ran around the other side and went to the office, the main desk. Nobody's there, and there's a sign that says, I'm sorry, no one will be available from 10 p.m. or whatever to 6 a.m. in the morning. Now, this is a hotel. They're responsible for all these people sleeping in these hotel rooms or whatever they're doing in there. And they're also responsible for people that get locked out, people that lose their cards, just things that come up all the time in hotels. Not only do they not have a phone number that when you call, it goes to, it goes right back to the hotel it doesn't have anybody there. I went across the street, there's another hotel with the same type of company, I think, or same company, but sisters or whatever. The door doesn't even open on the front door, and so that one's like, you can't even get in, but it has a sign saying, sorry, we're gone until 6 a.m. Call this number. That same number keeps going back to that. Nobody answers. It's like I think it's so stupid. It's very irresponsible, and it's very dangerous. So luckily I had a friend, because I had my dogs outside. I ran around, I was trying to get him in by running around and coming up to the door on the other side. And I was able to get him inside. And he's pretty big, muscly dude. I had the dogs tied to the door handle of the hotel room. And also, my friend was just standing there holding on to him. And they were being mainly good, but they're in a hallway that's pretty tight space, long hallway. People are walking through, everything's fine still, until all of a sudden I hear a bark. I'm like, and I'm actually behind the desk at the hotel trying to get a phone, because all my stuff's in the hotel room, everything. So we had no way to communicate. Some people walking around had theirs, still didn't matter because no one answered any numbers. I went behind the desk at the hotel because I don't care. I don't care what they think. We're stuck, and they left us in a situation that was kind of not cool. dangerous, whatever. I walk behind the desk because there's security cameras everywhere, and I'm like thinking, first of all, I want a cup of coffee because it's stressing me out and it's late. And so I walk back there to get coffee, and I was thinking, as I'm doing this, they're going to see me and be like, why is he behind the front desk? Blah, 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 blah. I knew that's what's going to happen. But it didn't. Nothing triggered anything. We didn't get a phone call. It didn't happen. Nothing happened for a while. All of a sudden, dogs are barking down the hall, and I'm like, oh shit, what's happening? Let me run down there. Take the phone of the hotel with me, the little wireless one, landline, and I go down the hall and I ask my friend, what do you think we should do? I grab their phone, like, do you have any ideas? Because I was thinking maybe we could call something behind the desk, but I already did that. None of them answered. The next step would have been maybe calling the police, because they had police numbers all along that desk, so they must deal with that a lot at that hotel. I should have done that. I really should have done that. So what happened after that was this man walks out of the room, of the hotel room, in the same hallway as us, right across the hall, or right across, like 3 feet away. He walks out and he just walks by, and my friend's like, he has his name, or his shirt says the hotel name on there. I'm like, oh, he works here? Like, why isn't he helping us? And I was like, oh, thanks for just walking by. And he's walking the other direction, and he goes, pushes his hands out like he was like, whatever, I'm not dealing with it, is what my reading of that language was. Well, he finally comes back noticing, I don't know how he figured this out, and it was me, but he went, which means he must have been watching on the cameras is what I think. He came to me and he goes, points real quick, and like grabs the phone, or reaches for the phone. Actually points at me to give him the phone. This man is, and no offense, but he doesn't hear, he has no hearing, he's deaf, from what they said. Even though when he was walking away, he did go and heard what I said, I'm pretty sure. Unless that was just and it happens, synchronicity or whatever. Either way, he looks at me and wants the phone back. And I'm like, okay, but why haven't you, I'm thinking, why the hell have you not helped us? Like, what are you doing here? And why are you being so aggressive right away? We're the ones locked out. We have done nothing mean or harmful. And it's like 4 a.m. So he reaches as fast as he can, and it's like, here's me, here's my dog. I'm holding my dog crouched down on the ground really tight. And he reaches right in front of her face towards me to get the phone, and she goes, whoosh. Well, he said he knew that was happening, and what I saw physically was, here's his arm. I can't bend it that way right now, but here's his arm, here's his hand, and he goes like this to reach out, and I'm kind of here, and she's kind of here, and she goes, and I saw this. So in my vision, I saw about a gap of this much in between her nose and where his arm was, and he goes like this, and he's like, ow, and I'm like, no, don't start that, because I knew what he was thinking. He was thinking, oh, this is perfect, I'm gonna get something out of this. And he goes like this, and he runs off kind of the other direction down the hall. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, she did not bite him. I'm pretty sure I saw that where I was angled. It was, I could see chomp, and like his arm, like, get away. She did bite at him, yes, but you don't reach in front of a dog, let alone any dog, even if it's a service animal or not. You don't go at their owner, slow or fast. Especially in that situation where she knows, she's a very smart girl, and she knows energies of people, and she also can feel that something's not right. This man doesn't have the best intentions, or whatever. Something's not. I'm going to protect my daddy, which is exactly what dogs do. They do that when they're protective of their owners, and I feel personally that's what they should be allowed to do. They don't do it because we tell them to protect us. They just do it. So he leaves, comes back a couple minutes later. I don't know how the timeline went, but it was a few minutes later, and then he's got this red mark, and I kind of got one from a iron burn. So it kind of looks like this. if you can see that. It's very light. It's very, very faint. And I'm sure you can see it. I don't know what this distortion is. So that was on his arm, all of a sudden. Now, maybe with the angle, I didn't see it or something. But there's no way she could have and left that red mark. It's just the area it was, the weirdness about it, and how he left. I feel like he put the mark on himself and then came back and was like, oh, look at this. Because he was like, look at this. Like, look. Like being a whiner in my point of view, because it may maybe slightly hurt, but it wasn't punctured. And there's no way she could, like, the way it was on there, it was like this, and then so she couldn't have bit him too hard. I guess it could have went like one of her canines and like pulled down or something. I was trying to figure out how this happened. So I'm like, oh fuck, like, excuse my language, but I'm like, oh fuck. This man, I can feel it from him. He's trying to get something out of this, and he has this perfect, what he thinks is perfect. I don't think it's gonna work, but I'm a very like giving, loving person, and spiritual like hell, and like if my dog bit her, I'd be like, okay, let's take care of this. Like, what do you want out of this? She bit you. I'm sorry. She was protecting me. Now that's all up to the other person, because I have at that point we've lost our protection. I'm feeling. I think there's nothing to protect us from. I'm just worried. I'm looking at her right now. I'm just worried that there comes a point in the situation where we just lose our way to defend ourselves, and her especially. I can try to defend her and like convince, or just maybe hopefully manifest the judge. But yes, the judge. The next day, to continue the story, he's like going like this, walking away, like meaning to me, I don't know a lot of sign language, but that expression means like you're done, you're going, you're out, or whatever. And I was like, crap, he's gonna do something. So I was a little nervous that it was gonna happen right away. It didn't. I figured he was gonna eventually call on us, or do something, start a process, or at least tell his boss, or something, because he knew that the next morning we were possibly, which I wasn't going to even go there. I was just going to tell them that maybe they should get a front desk person, because it was very troublesome the night before. Well, it escalated so much that he told his boss. She was a very nice lady, and immediately she's like mad at me. I could tell when she knocks on my door in the morning, and I wake up and I'm like, crap, what's going on? I was going to stay there again. This hotel had like a hot tub inside of it, which is crazy, and it was cheap. And I wanted to stay there another night. I don't know, it was just so strange. And then I tell her the story. She was the nicest person when I first got there, arrived. She still was nice enough to listen to me tell her my side. At first she forgot kind of, oh yeah, I need to hear him too. I don't know how the person being deaf, and this is not to judge or anything, I don't know how that person is able to communicate to people that don't, use sign language. And from what I've experienced, it won't be easy to explain exactly what happened if they don't speak out loud. So if he wrote it down, maybe. I don't know how he communicated his side of the story. But either way, she's like, you need to talk to my boss, the owner of the building. You're going to have to, get your stuff out of here and go. But the police are here, and so are the animal protection people. And I'm like, oh my God, really? Like, why? What lesson is this going to be? I'm a little nervous because of just being homeless. The police like to, I don't say the police like to, but the police get called a lot by people that like to police other people and think somebody's doing something intentionally bad by being homeless, living in their cars, sitting in there with their dogs, or whatever's going on. They're afraid of them. So they call the police. And the police basically have to tell you that it's illegal to be homeless in your car and live in it. You're going to have to move on, go somewhere else. But they don't tell you where to go or how to get there, or is there a safe place? And they also don't really understand. I think they understand because it's illegal, but it's not. Most of them are filled enough to be able to like allow that to happen without like, oh, we're gonna take you to jail or something, whatever the, I don't know what happens when you get in trouble for being homeless. Depends on, I think, where you're, for causing problems, like and trying to stay in a certain location physically and not move, and it's like tent cities and getting worse and worse because there's drugs and there's people, which I don't judge those people because they don't know, there's nowhere else to go and it just gets worse and worse being homeless. I'm so glad that I had the knowledge enough, and I guess maybe my parents helped with that, and how I was raised. I'm very resourceful and very knowledgeable about a lot of things. Unfortunately, some people don't have any of that information, and they struggle because they don't even know how to find or question how to get, they don't know how to get information, and it's not their fault. It's just a different level of experiences and received knowledge to help you with those situations. So what happened was the police officer, which was the animal control guy, told me that the guy's pressing charges, and that I'm gonna have to do virtual court because of COVID, and that I was like freaking out because I'm like, they're gonna take her away, they're gonna do this. They're like, I've always heard about dog bites. He's like, it wasn't a severe, it was just a, it was physical, he said, but it's not considered something, I don't know. But they said on the ticket, they have on the ticket that they were like on a rampage, running around like that's what I got out of the wording of that ticket. I don't know where it is at the moment, I just saw it, but at large is how they said it on the ticket. And I'm thinking, they weren't at large, they're tied to the door handle at the hotel, very secure. I was actually physically holding on to them at that point. And of course, when a dog leaps forward because some person that wasn't educated enough on what dogs do, especially in a hotel experience, there's dogs everywhere, they probably should have educated him on this, so it's not necessarily his fault. He may not even been thinking, it's probably not even a thing, but it turned into one because from what I felt from the energy of this person, they were like, ding, I can get something out of this, like money or suing me or whatever they think they're going to get out of a homeless person. I say houseless because I'm in a hotel, so I'm not homeless. And I have a car, so I'm houseless, I guess, which is tough. But I'm doing it on my own with the two dogs. Anyway, to get the long story is I have to go to court. I don't know what I'm going to say. I've been trying to think about maybe being prepared just in case there's some source of energy or information out there that has dealt with this and that helps people protect their rights, and also the animal protects the animal from what I feel is like now we're put into a situation where now it's up to the judge, which scares the crap out of me because that could be anything. Depends on how they like me or not when I walk in the room with the dog, or how happy they are in the day, or that they're not out to project and be like, everybody's going down today, I don't care what the sentence is. I feel like that's kind of how court is, and it's not fair, but they're all lessons. Nothing happens to us, it happens for us, so I'm trying to understand it. But if any of you guys have any resources or information or people that I could speak to about maybe helping me protect and being prepared before I go in there, because I'm never prepared and I never think about this stuff, but I'm starting to be more responsible and realize and actually think about these things before they happen, because I'm just huge, like procrastinating. I was always tired. I didn't care about anything. So, and then I'm kind of a different person now. So I'm trying to organize stuff all over the place. It's hard. Lots of little things, organizing them, being a creator like I am, and like doing artwork and music and everything I do, I have to be busy. So I have a lot of little tiny things that people are like, why do you have so much stuff? I don't really have as much as I used to, but the things that I do have, I don't know how to. I'm getting better at organizing, and keeping it organized is the key. Instead of taking it all out and like building stuff that's crazy artwork that I'm going to decide I'm going to build all of a sudden, which whatever it's, maybe meditation is a form of me taking me away from this world. Anyway, long story short, short story long, whatever. I need help. If you guys have any help with this. Now, so the original source channeling, that information that I just received, it was very powerful because I never, I guess, had a connection to source from information, but I kind of feel like it wasn't fully, I never was able to connect to my higher self until this year, which is many voices, in my opinion. Is my higher self, now that I've gathered, is multiple aspects of me from other, I was thinking about this and then they explained it fully in my head, that there's mini me, like me right now, and then there's all the soul's fragments that, sorry, I'm like kind of it's bright, and yeah, the light is crazy lately. Stay on topic. So I forgot what I was saying, oh my god. Oh, they were explaining, I'm sorry. Okay, so they were explaining that I was right when I was thinking about that. They're like, we are you. Because they kept saying, why do you keep calling us they? I'm like, why do you care what I call you? Because I don't know what else to call you. From what I think you are, you're a bunch of me's because you like to cuss me out and say crazy things and be like, you're nothing, stupid, what do you think you're doing? And like, they talk kind of like how I would think, or certain things, in a funny way. My comic side. So they cuss me out, they do all kinds of freaking crazy things. All those fragments of pieces of souls that I left in my past life, future lives, whatever, they're all one, but they're pieces of that fragmented soul of me, my original soul, which is a fragment of the original source soul. But when you put all of me's, I'm going to call them me's, together, there's little me right here. There's those other me's in those lifetimes, fragments of my soul, the main one here. And then when we put them together, there's big me. So let's say my nails are all those little souls. There's probably tons of them, but when you put them together, that's who's speaking to me. Them, they, the higher self, part of the higher self. Actually, I just realized something. So the next step to the higher self. I think there's like layers, but all of them put together is the big me. The big me is the higher self, or the step before the higher self. Once you put the big me together, I guess the big me would be the higher self, the next step. And then there's a veil, a cloud, like I was telling you at the beginning of the video, like in between grades that we learn, there's always this thing that we don't know what's on the other side until we reached it. So there's the veil. So there's little me, big me, and then cloud, veil, God, creator, source, boom, which is all of the big me's, little me's, your big me's, little me's, everything that exists here, the big me's, little me's, put together equals one creator, one God. But then it keeps going up. All those gods that are little me's, there's a next one, prime, like a bigger creator, something higher than them. That's where they have their veil too. God has his veil, its veil, whatever you want to call it. So, little me, big me, veil, God, veil, gods, bunch of gods, and another big one up here. Another prime creator, whatever is the next level. So, I think it's gone on for so long, I'm assuming that there's a bunch of them that don't know where the hell they came from. And that's the purpose of allowing us to be able to create more and trying to create more to get to this knowing that we're never going to get to. I don't think we'll ever... We might, once they get... Actually, I'm sorry. We will get... That's the purpose of those levels, and why God's doing the same thing. We're doing it on a higher aspect because he's trying to find where he came from, they came from, and that's allowing them to create more, which creates infinite information for us to live off of infinitely, and it never ends because souls keep bringing back new shit, God's creating new stuff from that information received, and it's like forever. And I'm going to cut it off there. I think that's a good picture of what I learned and where that information and how Source is viewing it and trying to show me the answer to that question. So I kind of feel like I got closer than I've ever been on that question. And if people know about that more too, or have any of their ideas of or knowings of what they received from Source or wherever they got the information from. So yeah, my brains right now is kind of just, I've been trying to integrate all this light that Source energy has been sending us for the first time, and I've been fighting with, is this real, or I'm doing it again, of where I question what I've been learning for 10 years, but the whole Ascension thing, and the Pleiadians, and the extraterrestrials appearing, and the disclosure, and the event. I'm trying to like understand it, because I feel like they're going to show, there's going to be a series of events that leads to the big event, and I think the big event is the wall of information finally hitting everyone on the planet, and the wall will hit really, really strong, or really, really not, or really soft, depending on how much information you've already received and been able to integrate and understand. But I feel like that wave is going to be the kick. My video is about ready to cut out, so love you guys. That's the longest I've ever spoken on a video, but I hope you learned something. My name's Weston Williams, Reiki Flyer. I do quantum healing, hypnosis, and past life regression. I have to do 24 more of them complimentary to get the full. I am certified, but I have to be as an intern. Complimentary work. I can take care of anything. Get to talk to your higher self or the subconscious. I'm doing so many things I'm going to enjoy talking about with you guys. Please post questions or comments or things you have questions about, because that'll help me lead to my next videos. But them, all of the information that my guides and angels and whatever, they're going to help me make these videos too, because I do want to start becoming more communicative as well, but also helping a bigger channel of people, our group. And I think this is the best way to do it the fastest until something else occurs. Anyway, a lot of weird shit. I'm just gonna say one more thing. A lot of the weird stuff is gonna happen in the next few weeks, maybe even months, before we're fully integrated into the fifth dimensional energy and unconditional love, New Earth. I do believe in it very fully, because not only Dolores Cannon talked about the stages of events and waves that would occur, but the subconscious would speak about it. And I always knew since I was little, my mom would say, oh, everybody thinks they're going to be part of the end of the world and heaven and blah, blah, blah. But I always kind of knew, because I just know for me personally, the information I receive, I don't just make it up. I've never known that I knew the information before, or it's coming from somewhere all of a sudden that I don't know how that's becoming, or why it's coming from. Maybe because I'm finally opening up and asking. That's one of the reasons. But sometimes I just all of a sudden have it. Which I think is the is the downloads, because we're like a big computer connected to a big supercomputer, blah 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 blah. I thought I had one more thing to talk about, but I don't think so. I'm gonna try to show you outside with this glitch thing off real quick, but if it doesn't allow me to, I'm sorry. But much love, and I will see you next time. I'm going to try to do as many of these, maybe hopefully daily, or at least when they come, I will go right to share with you. Much love. Keep spreading the light, and triggering the dark, so it can be healed with the light. Oh, you can see me. Good. I'm going to show you outside. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day, and many, many blessings. Try to remember the bifurcation stating your intent for fifth dimension. That's important, I think, to just say that out loud, or just make the intention that this is where you want to go. Mixed, negative or positive polarity. So we can flip this around here. As long as the video will allow me to record. Please also comment on how I did. I'd like to have some criticism on that as well. Almost dropped my freaking $1,000 Samsung. Here's the beauty of Denver. When we wake up in the morning, the sun comes up and starts to hit everything. That building over there with the Clydesford Still Museum, inside there's a mall, like parking garage and stuff, which my car's in there, and my vehicle, long story some other time, my vehicle's an abandoned vehicle that I found. I needed it. I lost my car previously, my brand new $24,000 vehicle, so I put a battery in this car and I started it up, and I've been driving it since the shutdown of COVID. And I parked it in there, and I was like, I don't know if I'm really supposed to do this or not. It has all my stuff in it. Yesterday, I couldn't figure out how to get back in there for whatever reason. I found it yesterday, and I was grabbing some stuff out of it and just checking on it, and I was like, not sure what to do. And these two security younger guys came up to me, and they were very nice, actually, but at first they were like, what is this dude doing? They said their boss basically reported it as a abandoned vehicle, and I'm like, well, it's abandoned and I own it now, and it's an abandoned vehicle. Like, I'm an abandoned person. I kind of feel like I didn't say that, but so I don't know what to do with the car, how to get the title, how to go next. I'm kind of really lost right now, and that's why I decided to say fuck it, excuse my language, but fuck it, I'm staying at this hotel, and I got a suite, the King Studio Suite, whatever it's called, and it's really nice, actually, but I've already gotten some shit from the guy downstairs about the dog, so I'm trying to manifest that he's not going to do anything. He said I'm going to charge you $75 for, so essentially because of his problem with my dog, he said she tried to bite him, which that time did not. He was like 10 feet away, and she kind of barked and said stay away from my dad, but he's this big huge guy that wants to be controlling, so he's going to charge me $75. And I'm like, you know what, whatever, I'll find that $75 somewhere else eventually, and do whatever you feel like you need to do, is what I was thinking about. I was going to try to fight it, but I'm just going to put it in Source's hands and let whatever take care of that, because she didn't do anything wrong. It did kind of get escalated, and they were watching me, because after that she was real nervous being around downtown Denver, obviously because there's so much going on compared to when I'm up in the mountains and stuff like that. But so yeah, help me with your guys' intentions. If you, like I said, if you have any ideas, I really hope I'm not, well, I know I'm not going to be doing this homeless thing, houseless, whatever, forever, but I do need some security more than just being in the car, traveling and hiding and running and teaching and traveling and hiding and learning. And I can't figure it out, but that's another story. Pretty much, I've been married for 7 years. I haven't talked to my husband since February 14th. That's another story, like I said, but that's affecting me a lot. I'm learning to be independent right now, which I hate. I don't like it. They keep telling me my higher self, the mini-me's, or the bigger me's, they're like, if you keep bitching about it, we're going to take the dogs again. Because, yeah, the dogs were, something happened where they were missing from my vicinity for 45 days. But yeah, anyway, I got them back. They're here. They're sleeping. I'm not going to bother them. But anyway, I'm going to shut up and let you view our sunrise in the morning from the 10th floor of whatever this building is. Wonderful, super califragilistic, expialidocious day. Hearing through the walls again, by the way.
Get on the floor. Break it.
Stepping real high.
Ain't nobody can touch me. Break it.
Stepping real high.
Ain't nobody can touch me. Break it.
Stepping real. This cannot be free. Be free. Yeah.
Move. What do you want?
Everyone, they put it on me. They know me.
What do you want?
They know me. Everyone, they know me. They know.
What do you want? Stepping real high.
This cannot be free. Be free.
Be free. Stepping real high.
This cannot be free. Be free.
Get on the floor. Be free. Stepping real high.
This cannot be free. Be free.
Be free. Stepping real high.
Everyone, this cannot be free. They know me. Be free.
Be free. Stepping real high.
This cannot be free. Be free.
Be free. Stepping real high.
This cannot be free. Yeah.
Move. What do you want?
Yeah.
Move. What do you want?
Yeah.
Move. What do you want?
Yeah.
Move. What do you want? Get on the floor.
Put it on me.
Get on the floor.
Put it on me.
Break it.
Stacking real high.
Ain't nobody can touch me.
Put
Get on the floor. Get
Put it real high.
Get on the floor. Ain't nobody can touch me. Break it.
Stacking real high.
Break it.
Stacking real high.
Ain't nobody can touch me. Break it.
Stacking real high.
Ain't nobody can touch me. Break it.
Stacking real high.
Ain't nobody can touch me. Break it.
Stacking real high.
Ain't nobody can touch me. Break it.
Stacking real high.
Ain't nobody can touch me. Break it.
Stacking real high.
Ain't nobody can touch me. Break it.
Stacking real high. Put it on me. Put it on me. Put it on.
Get on the floor.
Put it on me.
Get on.
Put it on me.
Break it.
Stacking real high.
Ain't nobody can touch me. Break it.
Yeah. Stacking real high.
What do you want? Ain't nobody can touch me. Break it.
Yeah. Stacking real high.
Ain't nobody can touch me.
Everyone, they know it on me. They know me. Put it on me. Put think they know me. Everyone they think they know me. Think they know me. They think they know me. Everyone they think they know me. Think they know me. They think they know me. Everyone they think they know me. Think they know me. They think they know me. Everyone they think they know me. Think they know me. They think they know me. Everyone they think they know me. Think they know me. They think they know me. Everyone they think they know me. Think they know me. They think they know me. Everyone they think they know me.
This cannot be free.
Know me. They put it on me. Know me. Everyone put it on me.
Stacking real high.
Put it.
Anybody can't touch me.
Put it on me. Everyone they think they know me. Think they know me. Put it on me. They think they know.
Stacking real high.
Ain't nobody can't touch me. Get on the floor.
Put it on me.
escape this fucking place. I'm tired of this place. It's time to get the fuck out of here. It's time to escape this place. This motherfucking place is gonna drive me motherfucking crazy. Can't take this shit no more. No. Cause everybody goddamn has a problem. Everybody goddamn has a stupid problem in their head. They can't do nothing for themselves. And I keep walking all around and I'm wondering how these people are so fucking stupid. They have no brain inside their head cause they're dead. I wonder when they're gonna wake up, but I don't know. I wonder when they're gonna wake up, but I don't think they will. So I keep walking around this goddamn place wondering when it's gonna change. Trying to wake them up, but they just go wall like a zombie. Walk around with their stupid blood coming up from out there. People going round and round and round and round and round like the thoughts in my head are going round and round. The thoughts in my head are going round and round. I'm sick of this town, I'm sick of this place. I gotta get the fuck out of here now. I don't even know if I could. I don't even know if I could. Cause there's so many fucking stupid people around everywhere I go. Every time I get stopped on the way because they're driving the road all fucking crazy. Even in the places I go to hide, there's a stupid guy in there. What the fuck? I'm tired of this shit. We got to escape. I wish I could just disappear and fly away into the sky. But I'm gonna keep waiting for this fifth dimensional energy, cause they said it's just 4 months away. And then we can stop going crazy, just 4 months away. Maybe then I can have my baby back. Maybe then we can be together. Cause I'm fucking tired of all these goddamn stupid fucking people, you know? Everywhere I go, everywhere I see, they're all fucking crazy. I'm tired of this shit. I can't take it no more. I just want my husband back. I want him to forgive me, and then all of the things that we built together will be back together. The dog, the cat, the things that we love.
Cause you know the thing that I want. My heart dances and bumps. You know the feeling, the groove, the boom. The body makes you move. The love makes your heart sing. Here comes the king. Here comes the gangster groove that makes you give it and move. I'll sing and dance all night long. When I'm feeling your body, my temperature starts to go rising. Cause you know that giving me that thing makes my heart sing. Dance and sing. Cause you know the thing that I want. Cause you know you make my heart dance and jump. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. You know the feeling, the groove. Your body makes you move. The love makes your heart sing. Here comes the king, here comes the gangster groove that makes you move and sing and dance all night long. When I'm feeling your body, my temperature starts rising. Cause you know you have given me the thing makes my heart dance and sing. Cause you know that thing I want. Cause you make my heart sing and dance and bump and jump. Boom, 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 boom. You know the feeling, the groove, the body makes you move. The love makes your heart sing. Here comes the king. Here comes the gangster groove that makes me move and sing and dance all night long. Dum, cause you know that thing. Cause you know that thing makes my heart dance and bump and jump. You know the feeling, the groove, your body makes it move. Love makes the heart sing, and here comes a king, here comes a gangster groove that makes you move and sing and dance all night long. When I'm feeling your body, my temperature starts to rise. Cause you know you're giving me that thing, makes my heart sing and dance and dance and dance. Boom, boom. Cause you know you're giving me that thing, makes my heart sing, dance and sing and boom, boom. Makes sense. It makes sense, right? It makes sense. Yes, it makes sense, cause you've been gone 7 whole months, almost 8 motherfucking shit. And it's breaking my heart, breaking my heart. It breaks my bad, it cracks me down into 1,000,000 pieces. It hurts so bad it breaks into 1,000,000 fucking pieces. And I know that shit, I can't take it no more. Cause that shit keeps breaking into 1,000,000. Right? You say, living in the world, it's tough out here, living in this world, cause everybody going insane, cause of isolation and this COVID-19. Well, I just want to spread my love, I want to go around, I want the people to see there's more than just this virus. Yes, this virus.
Purchase your tracks today.
We need love. We need love
'cause everybody's so cold-hearted and they have no empathy for all the people that are living on the street in their cars and their homes, and the homes are lost. No homes for them, no family or friends, no love. No love in their life, no love for their life, and they have nothing. So it's a cold, cold world, a cold, cold world. So we just need love. We just need love to spread the love in this cold, cold
Purchase your
world.
tracks today.
You can make it if you have a big heart. In this cold world, you need a big heart. You need a big, big heart for spreading all the love, 'cause the people that are living in a cold, cold world, they just need love. Spreading the love, spreading the love, hide the hate, spreading the love will save someone's day or their life.
As far as the eye could see, there was no green, but every tree was cinder black, and all around was gray and ash. The only sounds was arid wind, like spirits and ghosts, now gasping for some living host in which to dwell, as the days of evil men before the blaze of unimaginable fire had made the earth and flaming fire for gods. Omnipotent display of holy rage, the dreadful day of God has come. It has come. The moon has turned to blood, the sun no longer burned above, but blazing with desire flowed into the lake of fire. The seas and oceans were no more, and in their place a desert floor fell deep beneath the breathing skies, and the silence of the distant cries. The Lord stood still above the air, his mighty arms were most bare. They hung as wearing by his side, until the human blood had dried upon the sword of his hand. He stared across the blackened land, the land he made and where he died. His lips were tight, and deep inside the mystery of the southern world gave he began to spill, spill, spill. It began to spill. In tears above his sweaty blood for the one last time, then the Lord wiped every tear away and turned to his bride, and her heart had yearned for thousands of years before this. His face shone like the sun, and every trace of wrath was gone, 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 gone. And in her she heard a master say, "Watch this." And in her bliss she heard the master say, "Watch this." Come forth of the goodness from the ground, come forth with the earth rebound with joy. And as he spoke, the throne of God came to the earth and shone like golden crystal full of light, like golden crystal full of light, full of light. And phantoms were all in the night from the throne, and the stream began to flow like a new ran lake, and everywhere it flowed was a way. A wicked wrath broke on the face, and it spread like a resurrection from the dead.
Yep, and then I moved every tear away and turned to his bride. Her heart yearned for thousands of years. His face shone like the sun, and every trace of breath was gone. And then her bliss, she heard his master say, "What's this? Come on forth, goddess, and look from the ground. Come forth and let the earth rebound with joy." And he spoke. The throne of God came down to earth and shone like a golden crystal full of light, and love vanished one without the night. And from the throne the stream began to flow and laugh again, and it ran, and made a river and a wake. And everywhere it flowed awake. The grass broke on the bank and then spread like a resurrection from the dead. Yep. And in the twinkling eye of the saints descended from the sky as they knelt beside the brook to drink eternal life. I took a glance across the golden grass and saw my dog go black. Fast she came and running, she leaped into the stream and almost got me. And what a happy gleam was in her eye. I knelt down to drink and I knew I was on the brink of endless joy. And everywhere I turned I wondered where the big memory rolled along. Was that old John or this wolf lake pond? And there's old girl Arla too, she's holding beneath the little crystal sky stood. No stoop, they stand erect, no tremor in their hand. The blind can see a bird on the wing. The Duncan lifts his voice and the sting, a diabetic with a little coronary runs uphill. The lame can walk, the deaf can hear, the cancer ridden balloon is clear. The arthritic joint is all lift and free, and every pain has ceased to be, and every sorrow been within, and every trace of light lingering sin is gone, and all the left is joy. And angels, angels to employ the mind and the heart to understand the love of sovereign Lord who planned that everything should take eternity to land. To lavish all this grace on me above, I wonder if God of might grant us might elevate its light of endless days, and let us see the joy of what it is be. And may your future make us free. May your future make us free and guard us by the hope with the light of the candle 3, the glory that we'll ever see. Yep. And the Lord wiped out every tear away and turned to see his bride. And then her bliss, she heard this master say, "What's this? Come on forth, goddess, and look from the ground. Come forth and let the earth rebound with joy." And he spoke. The throne of God came down to earth and shone like a golden crystal full of light, and love vanished one without the night. And from the throne the stream began to flow and laugh again, and it ran, and made a river and a wake. And everywhere it flowed awake. The grass broke on the bank and then spread like a resurrection from the dead. Yep. The twinkling eye of the saints descended from the sky as the bird knelt beside the brook to bring eternal life. I took a glance across the golden grass and saw my dog go black. Fast she came and running, she leaped into the stream and almost got me.
In her eye, I knelt to drink, and I knew I was the brink of the endless joy. And everywhere I turned, I wondered where the memory belonged. Was that old John, just the wolf lake pond? And there's like Arla too, she's holding beneath the little crystal sky stood. No stoop, no tremor in their hand. The blind can see a bird on the wing. The Duncan lifts his voice and the sting, a diabetic with a little coronary runs uphill. The lame can walk, the deaf can hear, the cancer ridden balloon is clear. The arthritic joint is all lift and free, and every pain has ceased to be, and every sorrow been within, and every trace of light lingering in sin is gone, and all the left is joy. And then the ages to employ, angels, angels to employ the mind and the heart to understand, and the laws of the Lord who planned that everything should take eternity to land. To lavish all this grace on me, Lord, I wonder where does light elevate its light of endless days, and let us see the joy of what it is be. And your future make us free and guard us by the hope that we is free and guard us by the light of the candle 3, the glory that we'll ever see. From the Lord, without every tear away, turned to see his bride. Her heart had yearned for 1,000 years. His face shone like the sun, and every trace of a breath was gone. And her bliss she heard the master say, "Watch this, come forth, all your gods on the ground, come forth and let they be bound with joy." And he spoke. The throne of God came to shoot the earth with a shone like a golden crystal full of light, and vanished for once in all the night. And from the throne the stream began to flow and laugh and it ran. It made a river of the lake, and everywhere it flowed, the wake of the grass was on the banks, and spread the light. Resurrection from the dead. Resurrection from the dead. And in the twinkling of the night, the saints descend from the sky. As I knelt at these and looked to eternal life, I tilted a glance across the golden grass and saw my dog, old Blackie. Fast as she could come, she leaped the stream and almost what a happy gleam was in her eye. That's right. I knelt to drink and I knew I was on the brink of endless joy. Everywhere I turned, I saw, I wondered there. A big man running on the lawn, old John Young, with his both legs on. And there's old Beryl Arnold too, so holding hands beneath the blue wings, disguised in suit. They stand erect, no tremor in their hand. The blind can see a bird on the moon, the dumb can lift his voice and see. The diabetic eats and will, the coronary runs uphill. The lame can walk, the deaf can talk, the operatic notes are love and free. And every pain has ceased to be, and every sorrow deep within, and every trace of lingering sin is gone, and all left is joy. And then the same is to enjoy the mind and heart, to understand the love of the sovereign Lord who planned that it should take it to me to lavish all of his grace on me. Grace on me, oh, God of wonder, God of night, grant us summer, late at endless days and endless sea of joy. What is to be, and make the future make us free, and guard us by the hope that within the light of the candle, three. Your glory will forever see. Your glory will forever see. As far as the eye could see, there was no green, but every tree was cinder black, and all around was gray and ash. The only sounds was arid wind, like spirits and ghosts, now gasping for some living host in which to dwell as the days of evil men before the blaze of unimaginable fire had made the earth and flaming fire for gods. Oh, omnipotent display of holy rage, the dreadful day of God has come. It has come. The moon has turned to blood, the sun no longer burned above, but blazing with desire and flowed into the lake of fire. The seas and oceans were no more, and in their place a desert floor fell deep to meet the breathing skies, and the silence of the distant cries. The Lord stood still above the air, his mighty arms were most bare. They hung as wailing by his side until the human blood had dried upon the sword of his hand. He stared across the blackened land, the land he made and where he died. His lips were tied, and deep inside the mystery of the southern world gave the app began to spill. It began to spill in tears above his sweaty blood for the one last time. Then the Lord wiped his hair, every tear away, and turned to his bride, and her heart had yearned for thousands of years before this. His face shone like the sun, and every trace of wrath was gone. And in her she heard her master say, "Watch this." And in her bliss she heard the master say, "Watch this." Come forth of the goodness from the ground, come forth with the earth resound with joy. And as he spoke, the throne of God came to the earth and shone like golden crystal full of light, like golden crystal full of light, full of light. And banishments were all on the night from the throne, and the stream began to flow like a new ran lake, and everywhere it flowed was a way. A wicked wrath broke on the face, and it spread like a resurrection from the dead. Spread like a resurrection from the dead.
And then the Lord wiped every tear away and turned to his bride. Her heart yearned for thousands of years. His face shone like the sun, and every trace of breath was gone. And then her bliss, she heard his master say, "What's this? Come on forth, goddess, and look from the ground. Come forth and let the earth rebound with joy." And he spoke. The throne of God came down to earth and shone like a golden crystal full of light, and that vanished one through the night. And from the throne the stream began to flow and laugh and run, and it ran, and it made a river and a wake. And everywhere it flowed a wake of grass broke on the bank, and then spread like a resurrection from the dead. Yep. And in the twinkling eye, all the saints descended from the sky as they knelt beside the brook to drink eternal life. I took a glance across the golden grass and saw my dog go body. Faster came a run, and she leaped into the stream and almost got me. And what a happy feeling was in her eye. I knelt down
everywhere I turn, I wonder where the big money roll on. What's that? Oh, John, with both legs on. And there's old girl, Arnold too, she's holding a gun, you follow Christmas faster. No stoop, they stand erect, no tremor in their hand. Flying, can see a bird on the wing. The duck lip is facing the thing, a diabetic placebo. Coronary runs uphill, the lame can walk, the deaf can hear. The cancer ridden bone is clear, the arthritic joint is all lift and free. And every pain has ceased to be, and every sorrow in within. And every trace of light, lingering sin is gone, and all the left is joy. And angels, angels, to employ the mind and the heart to understand the love of sovereign Lord who planned that everything should take eternity to land. To lavish all this grace on me, oh God, I wonder if God of might grant us might elevate its light of endless days, and let us see the joy of what it can be. And may your future make us free. May your future make us free and guard us by the hope, with the light of the candle three, the glory that we'll never see. And the Lord wiped out every tear away, turned to see his bride. And in her bliss she heard this master say, what's this? Come on forth, goddess, and look from the ground. Come forth and let the earth rebound with joy. And he spoke. The throne of God came down to earth and shone like a golden crystal full of light, and that vanished one through the night. And from the throne the stream began to flow and laughing blood, and it ran and made a river in a wake. And everywhere it flowed away, the grass broke over the bank and then spread like a resurrection from the dead. Yep. Took a night and seems to sit from the sky as the bird knelt beside the brook to bring eternal life. I stepped right across the golden grass, saw her double black. As she came running, she rose into the stream. I was
in her eye, I knelt to drink, and I knew I was drink of the endless joy. And everywhere I turned, I wonder whether the moon was on with that old John, just both lay gone. And there's like one too, she's looking good, yellow was fast. Flying gives me a turtle wings. The devil just wasn't a thing, and I did it well. And everyone's uphill, the lame can walk, the deaf can hear, the cancer with bones. The arthritic joints all lift free, and every pain has ceased to be, and every sorrow within. And every trace of light, lingering sin is gone, and all that left is joy. And now the ages keep employing, just ageless to employ the mind and the heart to understand and love of the Lord who planned that everything should take eternity to land. To lavish all this grace on me, Lord, I wonder, where does light elevate the sight of the things they let us see the joy of what it can be. And your future make us free and guard us by the hope that we is free and guard us by the light of the candle free. Light of the candle free. The glory that we'll never see. From the Lord, down every tear away, turned to his bride. Her heart had yearned for 1,000 years so long. His face shone like the sun, and every trace of a wrath was gone. And her bliss she heard the master say, wash this, come forth, all your gods on the rail, come forth and let it be bound with joy. And he spoke, the throne of God came to the earth and shone like a golden crystal full of light, and vanished for once in all the night. And from the throne the stream began to flow, and laughing it ran. It made a river of the lake, and everywhere it flowed, though it got the grass broke on the face and spread like resurrection from the dead. Resurrection from the dead. And in the twinkling of an eye, the saints descend from the sky. As I knelt these and looked into eternal life, I tilted the lance across the old grass and saw my dog, old Blackie. Fast as she could come, she leaped the stream and almost stopped. What a happy gleam is in her eye. That's right. I knelt to drink and I knew I was on the brink of endless joy. Everywhere I turned, I saw, I wondered there. A big man running on the lawn, old John Young, with his both legs on. And there's old Beryl Arnold too, so holding him beneath the blue wings to sky the soup. They stand erect, no tremor in their hand. The blind can see a bird on the moon, the dumb can lift his voice and see. The diabetic eats and will, the coronary runs uphill. The lame can walk, the deaf can talk, the arthritic joints are light and free. And every pain has ceased to be, and every sorrow deep within, and every trace of lingering sin is gone, and all left is joy. And then it's us to enjoy the mind and heart to understand the love of the sovereign Lord who planned that it should take eternity to lavish all of his grace on me. Grace on me, oh God, I wonder, God of night, grant us some related endless days and endless sea of joy. What is to be, and make the future make us free, and can guard us by the hope that within the light of the candle three. Your glory will forever see. Your glory will forever see. Chickaball.
Let's fly away where we can be together. Let's fly away to a place that we can be together. It's a place that we can be as one. Let's fly away to a place that we can be together forever. There's a place that we can go. So let's fly together to a place that we can go. There's a place that we can make our own. Let's fly together to another dimension. That's our home, where we can be together alone. The dog is aching. We can be together in a place that we call home. Let's fly away together. Can be together where we can be. Fly away to the place where we can be together. It's another dimension of our own creation. It's a place where we can be alone if we want to, and others can come there if we want them to. But I love you, I need you, and I want to be together forever.